tell if a relationship has become toxic? Today at queenbeing.com. Hi, my name is Angela Atkinson. I'm a certified life coach, an author, and a survivor of narcissistic abuse in relationships. Today at queenbeing.com, we're going to discuss the signs that you're in a toxic relationship with a narcissist. It's a fact of life that some relationships go through the occasional rough patch. In most cases, these are worked out either through rational discussion or some arguing, but the issues get resolved. When there's a narcissist involved, though, the rough patch can become a lot less of a patch and more of a cold, wet, heavy blanket that seems to cover your entire life. You know what I'm talking about? Now, this is often referred to as a toxic relationship, but how can you tell the difference between a little rough patch in your relationship and a very toxic situation? Well, unfortunately, the differences can seem subtle at first. So, when you're looking at your relationship, look for signs like the ones I'm about to describe, and if you feel like your relationship is toxic, then or that you're involved with a narcissist, then these are things that you can take into, understand. And with the knowledge that you learn, you can move forward and make some educated choices about what you want to do next. Okay? So here we go. If you're in a toxic relationship, your partner is going to attempt to force you to be more dependent on him for basic needs or her. You will have made changes that you normally wouldn't have made just to keep your partner happy. The partner is going to control your life. They're going to check up on you and kind of try to make sure that you're doing whatever they think you should do or whatever they have dictated that you should do. They're going to verbally put you down, sometimes in front of other people. Not always. Sometimes it's going to just be behind closed doors, especially if we're talking about a narcissist who has an image to maintain. These people are going to be physically, mentally, or emotionally abusive and manipulative. Now, let me just stop for a minute here. If you go to queenbeing.com and you click on the Narcissism Abuse Recovery Resources page, you will find a link, a whole page that you can get to from there that will help you if you are being physically abused. It will help you to get out of your situation immediately. It's got resources for countries around the world, different states. It's a place to start. Okay, so hit queenbeing.com and check that out if you are being physically abused. Mental or emotional abuse, we can help you with. Physical abuse, you've got to help yourself first. Okay, moving on. Another sign, there's no evidence that your narcissist or the person that you're in a relationship with actually loves you, though they might say otherwise. Just remember that actions speak louder than words here. Okay? So essentially, what it all comes down to is that the narcissists and other types of toxic people are not healthy. And I'm talking about mentally, they're not healthy, emotionally, they're not healthy, and inevitably, they're on a mission to feel better than the people around them. They need to sort of put themselves on a sort of artificial pedestal. You understand what I mean? So essentially, what they're doing is they're poisoning you and your soul, so to speak, when they abuse you toxically with through this, manipulation and various control techniques. So if you do stick around for too long, you're going to find yourself feeling kind of dead inside. It's unfortunate, but that's what you have to deal with. So so you want to ask yourself, how does anybody get into one of these relationships and why do they stick around? Well, on the surface, the easy answer is that nobody should and nobody would, but unfortunately, we all know that it happens. So the reason is that toxic relationships in general run in cycles, right? So the three basic stages, let's talk about those. The honeymoon, which often includes love bombing. And then there's where, everything seems wonderful. There's a lot of hope for a happy future. Everything's amazing. Then we get to the problem stage. And again, that often includes the gaslighting and the manipulation and devaluing and discarding. And it's where the actual problems happen. And it's painful. It's the worst part. And it's the part that makes you sometimes feel dead inside. But then, in a standard narcissistic cycle, what happens is that it comes back around. We start to do the reconciliation thing. The narcissist realizes he's pushed you too far. He's lost the type of supply that you give him, so he wants you back. He wants you to come back into his little narcissistic harem, right? So that means that he's going to do the hoovering technique where he sucks you back in, and we can read about that on queenbeing.com as well. Anyway, this, of course, leads you right back to the honeymoon stage, and it starts all over again. It's a cycle. It's a constant, ongoing cycle. Okay, so let me ask you: does that sound like something you're used to dealing with in your relationship? Does it sound familiar? Once you know, I always say first before I say this, let me say this. once you understand what you're dealing with, okay, so education, in my opinion, uh, educating yourself about an issue can help you to understand it better. And once you understand it, then you know how you can begin to develop ways to get rid of the pain and the frustration by making different choices. Okay, making choices that are educated, understanding how a narcissist mind works, how your relationship is going to typically come out. And once you've done that, you can begin to create the life that you truly want. So that's something that you should consider. Um, and I think, in the end, there's really only one stage where things really seem bad. And after that, people see that their toxic mate or their narcissist, in this case, is trying to quote unquote do better, and they feel, oh, so sorry for what they did. And, as people, people who are typically attracted to broken people such as narcissists are empathic, and they are more likely to give everyone a second chance. And I'm not saying they as though I'm not one of those people, because I am one of those people. I did it too often, too much. But I learned my lesson and I moved forward. So the honeymoon phase then, is the next part. Everything's amazing. They're back to happy, back to willing to forgive and forget. I just want to be happy. But inevitably, the problems start again. The cycle goes back around. It's outrageous. So, why don't people get out of those toxic relationships at this point? Well, if you think about it, you can see that they've already got proof that their partner can change. So, if I'm in a relationship with someone and we go through absolute hell, and then one day he goes, you know what? I screwed up. I'm sorry. We're back. Well, of course, I've seen him change before. So obviously, the proof comes in the form of the prior reconciliation stage, right? So from the perspective of an outsider, it's hard to believe, and it looks like a bunch of crap. But when you're stuck in the middle of the relationship like this, you know, that's how you see it. That's your perspective. Is just okay. Well, whew, at least I can relax now. Now there's another honeymoon stage right around the corner, and that's the thing that I think we as empaths, that I think we tend to really lean toward. We want that happy moment, and we don't want to always give up the happiness for the pain. But the problem comes when the pain is, when the bad stuff happens more often than the good stuff, percentage wise, if that makes any sense. Every relationship has bumps. Some relationships have bumps that are, just going to become worse and bigger, and be mixed in with some potholes, if you understand what I'm saying. Just the road of a healthy relationship is going to include, more good than bad. Okay. Now, what's the key to getting out of a narcissistic relationship? I've talked about it before. You go no contact, et cetera, but it's always easier said than done, right? So you have to think of your relationship with a narcissist as an addiction. The drug is the problem stage, right? That's the part where it doesn't feel good, but you got to do it anyway. You got to get through it, right? So if you were, say, doing some harmful drug instead of being with a harmful person, then the problem stage would be the part at which you are, I guess, sort of fiending for the drug, or the part where you just want the drug so badly but you can't get it, right? And then the honeymoon stage, of course, is the high that's felt. So while you were in the reconciliation period, you went out and you reobtained that drug, and then you come back around and everything's amazing again. Well, it's the same deal. You can't get high without the drug. It's the same deal with a relationship. So if you're in a toxic relationship, you've got to break out of it at that problem stage. Because sure, you might turn around and come back right into the honeymoon stage again. But if this is happening more often than, occasionally, like, you have to understand that this is what you're dealing with. So you have choices. You can decide whether you want to stick around and put up with that, or you can decide that you're too good for that and you deserve better. Which, by the way, my friend, you do. But anyway, knowing the signs is what it comes down to. You have to be ready to take action, whether that means to, sit down, put your head down, and accept what you're dealing with, or it means to stand up and take action to do what you want, to become, the person that you want, to have the life that you want, because you deserve to be happy. Every human on the planet, my friend, deserves to be happy, and that certainly includes you. It is my intention to teach you that you deserve to be happy, and to show you who you are, through your own mirror, so you can understand that you deserve better than what you're getting now. Okay? Look, don't kid yourself. You need to get help. You need to do whatever you need to do to get the respect you truly deserve. Obviously, it's going to be difficult, but I promise you, you'll have a much happier life when you do. All right. So this is Angie Atkinson one more time, and I am signing off for now. If you have questions, concerns, or things you want to talk about, please visit me at queenbeing.com and let's talk about it. I am always happy to hear from a reader or a listener or a viewer. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week.